Good morning, Raptor freaks. Alexiot's here, and it's Tuesday, and we've had 2 days off since the Raptors played on Sunday. So that means it's a time for Tuesday trivia, Raptor Freak Classic Jurassic Tuesday Trivia. So we will be playing trivia today. I have questions written, and as you can tell, we know who the subject is. I did not like to reveal it too soon, but yes, we will be doing CJ Miles Classic Jurassic Tuesday trivia today. I will give it some time for you guys to filter in by just going over some news and notes first for about 10 minutes, and we'll see who shows up and plays. Good morning, Monique. Good morning, everyone. Looking forward to hearing Bobby. That's right. Monique is letting us know that Bobby Webster has called a press conference for today. This could be very interesting to find out what he has to talk about since it is 2 days before the trade deadline comes. So who knows? Maybe he's being proactive about telling us about what they intend to do with the Raptors roster going into the trade deadline and what's coming up. Maybe he's going to announce something that's happened. I have no idea what Bobby Webster's going to say today, but we will be tuned in and listening to him. That's for sure. Isaac Campbell's here. Let's go. Isaac Campbell, one of the best Raptor freaks out there, the benevolent Isaac Campbell. And Summer Lowe's here. Anyone use a Samsung phone? What app do I use to play music? I don't know. I mean, iTunes? I don't know. Can you just go to YouTube and maybe play the music through the videos on like the internet? I don't know, Summer. I'm not totally familiar. I used to have a Samsung back in the day. I think I do have a Samsung actually still, but it's kind of a piece. It's old. So last night, the Raptors 905 played the Maine Celtics, and they didn't win. It's too bad. It was a little bit of a tough game for them. I have a couple of comments to make about this game. They lost 115 to 112. It was a close game. The 905 could have won, but they didn't manage the game well at the end of the game. There were a couple of really poor mistakes that allowed for easy baskets because listen, they were beating the Maine Celtics by 6 points with like 5 minutes to go. They had the lead, and the Celtics came up and took the lead from us and beat us at the last minute. I hated seeing that. There's a couple of things that happen with that where there's just poor communication, not using each other to share the ball and get easier baskets. Too much of like isolation, trying to beat people and going to the basket, and that kind of stuff just didn't work. You know, it was a mixed bag last night. There were some things that were good that were happening with the Raptors 905, but there's some things that were just really bad, and I didn't like to see. Koloko had a really tough game. At the first half of the game, he did not score, and he had a really hard time doing anything offensively. He was getting called for weird calls and just having a real frustrating time. In the second half, he woke up a bit, and honestly, he got a triple double. He got a double double by the end of the game. So he's one of my 3 stars because he ended up with 10 points, 10 rebounds, and that was really all in the second half. I mean, at least the scoring. The rebounds a lot of them came in the first half. But Kologa's one of my stars. My number 1 star last night is actually very interesting. It's Ryan Hawkins. He came off the bench last night, played 22 minutes. He was 6 of 7 from the field, 2 of 3 from three-point range. Those threes were looking good last night, Hawk. 2 steals, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, a +1, 17 points. Not a whole lot of super scoring by the Raptors 905 throughout their lineup. Delano got 22, but he was 8 of 24, so he missed a lot of shots. He had 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals. He was a -4 with 3 turnovers also. So I didn't like how Delano played yesterday. He was high usage, but he was also not efficient or effective. There was a lot of stuff he was doing out there which just wasn't working. He was just throwing the ball up, and it was really poor shots at times, that the 8 for 24. So I can't pick him as one of my top 3 guys from the game last night. I do pick Koloko because he struggled so much in the first half that he didn't give up, and he played really tough in the second half, and he made some points then, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 offensive rebounds, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block for Christian Koloko with 10 points. And he did only manage 3 fouls, which is pretty good. My other star for the game is Jeff Doughton Jr. So my 3 stars altogether are Ryan Hawkins, Jeff Doughton Jr., and Christian Koloko. Doughton was 7 of 12 from the field. Very, very good shooting by him. 7 assists and a rebound, 15 points for Jeff Doughton Jr. Other guys had tough games. Sterling Brown's been very good for the Raptors 905 since he came back from the Lakers. He had a bit of a dud game last night, only 5 points, but he did get 10 rebounds. I do like that. Gabe Brown, 9 points with 3 of 6 from 3-point range. Reggie Perry, not the most efficient game once again, 6 of 14, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal, 16 points, but he was a plus 10, the highest plus on our team. Ron Harper Jr. actually had a really good game also. I could have picked him as one of the stars. 5 of 9 from the field. He missed all 4 of his 3-point attempts, but 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. He was a plus 9 with 13 points. So, yeah, it was a tough game for the 905, a learning game. They should have beaten the Maine Celtics. It sucks because the Celtics are above them in the standings now. They just overtook them because of that. But we get to play them again on Wednesday. So we play them a second game tomorrow. Hopefully that outcome can be a little bit better. Now, I have a couple comments about the Maine Celtics. They're weird, man. They have a team that doesn't seem totally fair. I mean, first of all, they got this big, huge 7-foot guy, number 99, Sandwich. I mean, his name is literally like sandwich. When you say, go get me a sandwich, woman. You know, I know that's not the right thing to say to any woman or anything, but that's like this dumb joke. Get me a sandwich. Well, the dude's name is Sandwich, and he's 7 foot, and he hits threes. And, well, he was dominating down low. He actually kicked our ass last night. I hated seeing him outplay Koloko in a lot of ways last night. Sandwich, really annoying. And then, listen, I don't know if this is fair or not, but the Maine Celtics have Tony Snell on their roster, and he was a huge factor in the reason why they won last night. This man's been playing the NBA for like 12 years. He's like 34 years old. He was on a roster on the Bucks, I believe, at the end of their roster last year. So it's like he's this far out of being out of the NBA. The dude had so much veteran guile and smarts in this game last night that absolutely helped the Maine Celtics win this game. Having Tony Snell out there is kind of like having, a ringer is what I feel like it is. You know, Tony Snell, how long has he played in the NBA? He's out there 8 of 14, 4 of 6 from 3, 2 for 2, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 22 points for Tony Snell in the win for Maine Celtics. Other guys of note, they had that little dragon guy, J.D. Davidson. This is somebody that everybody thought we should have drafted last year. Well, I'm looking at this dude, and he's like 6 foot. He's like a little tiny guard. Obviously, that's why they were trying to tell us to draft him. They always want us to get undersized guards for some reason, the ESPN draft experts. Well, J.D. Davidson's weird because to me, I thought he was a cheerleader at first because he's so little. And he's got this long flowing orange hair like a mane, like a lion would have. And he just like, I thought he was like a cheerleader standing on the side of the bench for them because he's like the way he looks. But no, he's this little lion man who comes out there and runs around. Now, they were trying to say he's the most athletic player on the team for the Maine Celtics, but I didn't see it in the game. He was a very understated game, but it was weird to see him. And then at one point, all right, listen, last night in Mississauga, they had a very special event for the game, Cape Day, wear capes for kids in support of Blurview, Holland Blurview. And I was so happy to see that. And so Siakam was at the game in support, and they were all wearing capes at the game, the audience. And it was to break the Guinness World Record for as many people gathered wearing capes. And they did. They broke the Guinness World Record last night in the Paramount Fine Food Center. And that's pretty awesome that they did that and awareness for Holland Blurview, Blurcourt, or, that's fantastic. And I know your connection to that place, Monique, is very special. And it's very awesome to see Siakam coming in full support and doing this stuff for them. You truly are a superhero, Pascal Siakam. That cape, you wear it and you've earned it. And it was really cool to see Nav Bhatia there also at the 905 game in support of this also. Just really cool, awesome kind of thing to go on at a 905 game, having such a special like awareness for such a good cause. And then at one point, Darnell Valentine, who's a point guard for the Maine Celtics, was at the sideline about to inbounds the ball, and the referee was about to give him the ball. And Nav was sitting right next to him, but he stood up, and then Darnell stopped in the middle of the game and turned around and hugged our super fan right in the middle of the game. And I was like, wait, what? Why is the Maine Celtic guy hugging our super fan in the middle of the 905 game? It's very strange because it almost paused the game. It's like let's take a moment for hugging. And like he turned around and he hugged Nav, and Nav hugged him back. And it was right in the middle of the game. It was kind of like, Monty Williams running on the court during the game. It was like, wait a second, the game's in play. Well, let's get a Nav Bhatia hug. in the middle of the game with Darnell Valentine. I was like, why is Valentine? How do they know each other? Was Valentine I think was maybe on one of our training camp rosters like a couple years ago or something. But I was like, I didn't understand that whole connection. Well, all right, let's take a pause for a hug. Fine, let's do it. All right, let me see what else you guys are saying. Salute Real Ones, Project Truth Always. Mike, you go, Mike. Good to see you. Check out Logical Raptors Fanatics channel. What time is the press conference? I'm not sure. I'm going to guess it's probably around noon, 1 o'clock, somewhere right around there, summer. And I'm sure it'll be on the Raptors YouTube channel. Monique saying, Delano frustrated me last play. Yeah, he had a couple of turnovers, not very sharp with the ball, a little careless, and not really the best decision making in the last couple minutes for Delano Banton. Yeah, it's unfortunate. He did have a one play where he looked up the court and got Ron Harper in transition for an easy layup in the last couple minutes of the game. And that was the best play he got in there. But yeah, he frustrated me too yesterday. Yeah, we don't know exactly when the press conference will be yet, but I'm pretty sure, I want to speculate it's going to be around noon or 1. Monique saying, congratulations, Pascal and Holland Blurview to break the Guinness record last night. Yeah, it was very special and just really nice, heartwarming thing to see. And Tom Duke saying, good morning. That's fantastic, Pascal and others. That hug is so cool. Yeah, it was weird. I was like, wait, why is the Celtic guy hugging our guy? And I was like, wait a second here. But yeah, pretty fun game last night. Great atmosphere. It's too bad they didn't win. But otherwise, I can look at the team stats and kind of break it down for exactly why they lost. We did outshoot them. We got more shots and we shot better than them, but they made 8 more threes than us. They shot really, really well at 3, actually. The free throws, they also beat us at the free throw line, +4, getting 13 free throws to our 9. They out-rebounded us. We did have more assists, 30 assists. They had more turnovers, which was good. But still, yeah, it was really the three-pointers and the free throw shots. And the fact that we could not defend them in the last quarter. They got 30 points in the fourth quarter. That's when we should be shutting them down and not letting them score so much. I'm telling you, this is a weird team. Samic is annoying, and I still don't understand why Tony Snell is allowed to be on their team. I mean, I guess we had Jody Meeks last year. I don't know. I just feel like Tony Snell, the way he looked on the court last night, he should be playing the NBA. Why is he in the G League right now? It's so weird. So weird. They were saying, well, he could go to Europe and make more money right now, but he wanted to play in the G League. Okay. All right. So weird. So weird. All right. Captain Save-A-Bro is here. Good to see Captain Save-A-Bro. Another superhero that wears a cape, just like the people at the Mississauga game last night. Good morning, guys. Hope y'all are having a great day. Wonder how different our team is going to look this trade deadline. I'm kind of sad to hear all these OG rumors and even Pascal for Ben Simmons rumors. This Pascal for Ben Simmons shit is stupid as fuck. We do not need to go anywhere near Ben Simmons. We had made it very clear yesterday here in the Raptorsfreak think tank that Ben Simmons is not worth the price that he is paid in his contract. This man is not worth it. So why would we fucking want to trade to get him? I don't think they're dumb enough to do this. Plus, in a lot of ways, Scotty and Ben Simmons aren't a fit. I know Scotty loves Ben Simmons' game because he talked about him last summer when we were on Twitch. He really glowingly likes Ben Simmons. And in fact, he was like kind of dissing the people who diss him. He's like, he's a great player. I don't understand why people hate him so much. Well, Scotty, his skills will not go well with your skills. So he's not good for us to have on this team because in a lot of ways, y'all do similar things. And in some ways, you're better than him. You're a better shooter. And I think your court vision and some of the things that you do is better than him. He may be a little further along in his career, but in some ways, whatever. Somebody made a joke on Twitter that I just saw. Is we get Ben Simmons. Well, this guy's going to take a year off from being a Raptors fan for his mental health, just like Ben did on the Philadelphia 76ers. So, yeah, I hope they don't go anywhere near Ben Simmons. I don't think our front office is dumb enough to do that. In fact, I want to read something about the Raptors front office real quick. Aaron Rose posted a tweet half an hour ago. Then this is from Matt Moore, who's an expert in the NBA. He's a senior writer on the NBA. And he said, as always with Toronto, there should be a word of caution as trying to get a deal done with Toronto is like blood from a stone. As one executive described it, due to the front office's combination of savvy and leverage. So listen, we're not going to do any deals right now that we don't want to do because we've been described as dealing with us is like getting blood from a stone. And that's the thing. We're savvy, we're knowledgeable, and we are cutthroat. And we ain't fucking around with deals. We're not stupid. We're going to be like, oh, yeah, we'll do that just to make the deal happen. Fuck that. We want to make the deal happen in the way we want it to happen. And if it doesn't happen the way we want it to happen, it ain't fucking happening. That's really the way they should be looking at this right now, because one of the words they say is like, we've got intelligence and knowledge and savvy. Well, we also have leverage. And that is very much true, because the one thing that all these ESPN writers and all these other people talking about the trade deadline right now forget to realize is the Raptors don't have to do jack shit. It's only them who are building up this whole thing that we've been such a disaster that we have to do something. Well, motherfucker, the signs are there that we're about to pull out of the shit. And that, everybody thinking we're desperate or that we're in a bad place and we have to absolutely do something. You're wrong. We don't. So we do still have the leverage and the power in the negotiations with the other teams and the trades. We don't have to do jack shit. So we got to remember that when we're worrying about this trade deadline and what could possibly happen in the next couple of days. We really do have to trust in Bobby and Masai that they are savvy, they have the leverage, and they are super intelligent, and they're not going to be doing some foolish ass shit. So that's the thing that gets me through these next couple of days, is just knowing that is who our front office is. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. We'll have to see what happens. Let me read some more of your comments. No more comments though for a bit, because we will get in this trivia. I do want to make sure we get into this quickly. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Beloved Raptors freaks, most informative gang. Blessings on this great Tuesday. Thank you, Randolph, for gracing your presence through the stream today. We always appreciate seeing your name here. Tom Duke saying, big day for the league. Raptors in charge of the direction of the deadline still. This is true in a lot of ways. Once again, you know what? We have the leverage. We get to decide, and we don't have to do nothing. Guardian Transit saying maybe Pascal for KD. That is not totally off the table. That's the crazy thing. There is so many different things that could happen in the next couple of days, and I'm ready for any of it. And I'm just going to trust in our guys to do the right thing in the front office. Monique saying from the NBA highlights, Wizards keep losing. Good for Raptors? No. Yes, it's very good for us. All these teams that may go into a slide in the second half of the season could really, really help us come up. Indiana, Washington. Watch Brooklyn now. Watch Brooklyn now that Kyrie's gone. Let's see where Brooklyn goes in the standings, because they could fall very far, and we could actually end up above Brooklyn by the end of the season just because of what just happened. Some people are saying, oh, they're fine. They got Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't believe that shit. And they need Kevin Durant back ASAP to get their season back on track, because they're already starting to lose a lot, and they just lost Markieff Morris, one of the biggest guys on their team, and they got no beef on that team, and they got even less now. I don't care if Dorian Finney-Smith's showing up. That guy's been barely an NBA player coming into this league at this point. So it's like, I don't have any faith in him, and I think that the Nets are just become more easy to beat because of Kyrie leaving. That's just the truth. It's just how it is. Captain Saber Bros saying, for real, that was my thoughts. How are they going to fit together? And how is moving Pascal for Ben moving the needle on for the Raptors? It would be a horrible trade, even with draft compensation. And you agree with me. Yeah, he can't shoot. What is the biggest things the Raptors need right now? Like, we need this guy to come and brick more shots for us. We already brick enough shots on our own. Captain Saber, bro, I'm so glad you're here. Good comedy. All right, I just want to remind y'all what we're playing for. This is a Vince Carter Mr. Big bobblehead. It's a little generic. It's a little not official, but it is a booby prize. It is a cool prize to win if you win this trivia by the end of the season. Right now, our leader is David Saborin, with a very close second behind I Am Shanky. So let's see who's here today. Sometimes the trivia players do not like to talk before, but they're very much here and lurking. Let's see who's lurking today. Today, it's Classic Jurassic Trivia, CJ Miles. That's right, baby, CJ Miles. Let's get this trivia going right now. All right, let's see what's up. I will get the rest of the comments after this. What is CJ Miles' middle name, y'all? What is CJ Miles' middle name? If you know his first name, let's put that in too. I would love to see if you guys know the first name and the last name. Isaac saying Arusho's better than Simmons. I can't disagree with that. So Monique knows his first name is Calvin. All right, Monique, I'm going to give you a point for that one. 25 points for Monique. And then Tom Duke has got the middle name. Tom is getting the middle name is Andre. Yes, good job. Calvin Andre. Race mode just barely in there. Omari's just barely in there. We're going to give the points to Tom, but good job, guys. Calvin Johnson. I don't think that's his name. That's a football player, Mike. Let's see. I'm going to read this too. Logical saying, laughing my ass off. That's what I've been saying about Masai. Not going to lie, Masai is a master at asset value assessment. Yeah. Yeah, I'm really trusting in them right now. We got the right front office for this trade deadline kind of situation that we're in. If we had weaker front office, they would probably get fleeced by somebody in something. No, not our guys. They're too smart. And Fiercely saying, good morning, fam. And Masai and Bobby, we trust. Watching closely, Bulls, Pacers, and Wizards, as we're pretty close. We really are. We're very close to re-entering the play-in again. If we just win these good teams, these bad teams we're about to play, we can get in the play-in real quick. Real quick. Yeah, they're going to have an announcement today. You're emotionally attached to our championship players. I will not get attached to Scotty or any others. Too painful when it's over. No, do it, Cool Cat. You got to be like this. This is part of how we're so diehard for our team. We just love them so much. It's so hard to say goodbye. Yes, boys to men. But listen, it's just a business, and that we get our time as we do with people as we do. It's just like in relationships. You may only get a certain time with the partner that you have for a little bit of while. You have to enjoy it. It's just like that with players too. It's you got your time with them that is supposed to be that time. All right, let's keep going with the questions. What is CJ's Canadian nickname? What is CJ's Canadian nickname? This is a funny one. Steve didn't know this one. I tried the questions on Stevie Roots yesterday, and when I told him the answer, he laughed because he had never heard this joke before. JM race mode? No. What's his nickname? What is CJ's Canadian nickname? Oh, Mike's on it. It's Logical Raptors fanatics getting this one. It is CJ Kilometers because it's CJ Kilometers. It makes sense. Well, Monique, that's a good nickname, Sniper, but it's actually CJ Kilometers. That's what I was looking for. Mike's the first one in there. Cool Cat and Amari also getting the answer. All right. What city and state was CJ Miles born in? What city and state was CJ Miles born in? Yeah, where he's from. If you guys get that one, 25 points to whoever gets in there first in the order. Dallas, Texas, and Omari is getting that one. Duppy Conquerors is on the board with the third question. Dallas, Texas is the correct answer. Good job, Omari. All right. Yeah, Monique's in there too. I'm going to give Monique the points. All right. Who is CJ Miles' podcast co-host on Yahoo? Who is CJ Miles' podcast co-host on Yahoo? The show he's doing right now that's so popular and so good. Such a great podcast. The best podcast, new podcast this season. No, it's not Vivek. It's not Vivek, cool cat. You know who it is, right? Monique knows. Who is the co-host? Yeah, okay. What's the second name, Cool Cat? I want the full name. I don't want just the half of the name. You guys got to get it. All right, Monique's got it first. She got the whole thing, so she's getting it. It's Amit Man. Yeah, he is the co-host of CJ Miles' podcast that started this season. And what a great new podcast. It's very popular and just really good to see these days. So, yeah, good job, Monique, getting Amit Man. That's right. All right, here we go. What 4 numbers did CJ wear during his NBA career? He's worn 4 different jersey numbers. What are the 4 numbers? So 25 points for each. You can get 100 points if you know some of these numbers. So you guys know what he wore in Toronto. 34 is right, Omari. You're getting that one. 34 is a number he did wear. So there's one of them. We got 3 more numbers. David Saborin is here. There's our champion, David. He's going to take the 0 that he wore for Toronto. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Good to see David. Let's see. Omari's got the 0, and now he's got the 6. So Omari's going to get the 6 also, and he's also going to get the 50. Tom Duke, you're a little late. Sorry, brother. But Tom, you are on the board already today. But good job, Omari, getting 3 out of the 4 answers. No, 21 isn't right, David, but that's a good guess. So 34, 0, 6, and 50. Those, you know, it's such a weird arrangement of numbers. Like usually a guy has a couple of numbers that are kind of similar or they have some sort of tie together, but I cannot make sense of why he had 0, 6, 34, and 50. This is such a random assortment of numbers, really. All right, here we go. Next question. What team signed CJ Miles off the G League Ignite and is the last NBA team that he played an NBA game on? For what team brought him from they called him up from G League Ignite and that he played his last NBA game for? What team was it? I want the city and the name. All right. Yeah. All right. David's got it. It's the Boston Celtics. I'll go ahead and say just give me Celtics. That's fine. David Saborin getting that question. Good job, David. It's not Memphis. It is Boston. Good job, David. All right, let's see. Forgetful saying, I take Cam Thomas in half a heartbeat for Trent. The kid's got game, court vision. Nah, we're not talking trades right now. It's trivia right now, Forgetful. I apologize, Mr. Sorcerer, but we are on trivia tip right now. We'll talk more about everything else afterwards, but we're in the middle of the game right now. I don't want Cam Thomas, by the way. I know we got 44 the other day, but I still don't want him. I still don't want him. All right, let's keep going. Question number 7. What team and pick was CJ picked at in the draft? Who drafted CJ Miles and at what pick in the draft? Let's see. Yeah, he hit 47 last night too, David. Ooh, okay, maybe I should shut up because I'm like Shaq. I'm not familiar with this game. 34 and Omari's getting. Ooh, Omari's coming on strong today. He's getting 50 points for getting both of those. 34th pick by the Utah Jazz. That's correct. Oh wait, yeah, Omari's got it first. Yep, and it wasn't the Wizards. Sorry, Monique. Good guess though. All right, next question. What is the nickname of CJ Miles' alma mater? What is the like how it was like you know what I mean? Like his college. What is their team nickname that he went to? What is the nickname of the college that he went to? It's a little tough, honestly. This may take a little bit for digging or figuring out. It's kind of like Indiana Hoosiers. What is the nickname? No college. That's that sounds like it's true, but you know what you're right. He didn't go to college, but David's got it. That's what I was looking for. Longhorns. He actually went to University of Texas at Austin for a second. So David got it. It is Longhorns. It's a Texas team. When I said Steve, it's like Texas. All right. Oh, Longhorns. Well, it's not the Texas. It's Texas. Yeah, good job. Yeah, he did go straight to the NBA, but I think he was with that team for just a brief second. He was with the college team. But yeah, very good point, Omari. You keep this in mind, what you're saying, though. Other than Boston, Utah, and Toronto, what were the other 4 teams that CJ Miles played for in his NBA career? Let's see. Yeah, everybody's going to have the wiki page open. I don't expect this to be off the top of the head. This is very much a cheating test, and it's just kind of getting in there quick. All right, Memphis is going to be got by Omari. Summer, there's nothing I can do about that. I mean, I don't know how I can police that. Wizards will go to Monique. Monique has got Washington. So it is an open book test. Unfortunately, just that, but it is what it is. But it's fun. We get to learn about him still. Oh my gosh! See, all right. Now, if you cut and paste, David, I'm not going to let you have it. You're cutting and pasting. I won't. That's a voided answer because you cut and paste. I can't do that. I'm sorry. Omari's going to get Cleveland. There's one more team, guys. If you can think of it off the top of your head. Yeah, he didn't know just all that. He just cut and paste all that from his wiki, and then we can't do that. Yeah, cut and paste is not legal. That's a step too far. At least type it out. Come on. Pacers. Omari got the last one. All right, Omari's on top of it this week in the trivia. I really like to see it. Omari's going to be moving up the standings, getting 3 out of the 4 places. Cleveland, Indiana, Memphis, and Washington are the 4 other teams that CJ played for. All right, here's Raymond Jacobs' favorite question of the day. How much money did CJ Miles accumulate over his entire NBA career in contracts? How much money did CJ Miles make in his entire NBA career in contracts? Yeah. Well, just, David, just you can't do that. It's too lazy. It's too lazy. $20, Tom? That's not enough. Omari's saying 48 million. That's too low. 30 million is too low, Monique. Those are too low. It's not an offensive foul. It's just, come on. Within reason. 62 million is too high, but that's a pretty good guess. It's a pretty good guess. So it's between 62 and 48. There you go. Somewhere in there. Let's see who gets it first. I'm surprised Raymond Jacobs not here. 60 million is very close. It's too high. 54 is too low. Tom's playing off the top of his head. 54 is too low. You guys are getting closer. So it's between 54 and 60. 59. Tom Duke hit the nut button. Tom Duke has got it. It's $59 million is how much CJ made over his NBA career and contracts. $59 million. That is how much he made. Good job, Tom Duke. Getting it just before Omari, right in there. And Summer with 56. That's close. All right, let's keep going. What school did CJ's wife, Lauren, play NCAA basketball for? His wife played collegiate basketball in the NCAA. It is a little rigged, Summer. I'm not gonna lie. These people know my questions ahead of time because they're here all the time, and I ask the same questions. UCLA is wrong. That's not exactly right, Omari. I need more of the answer. There's part of that is right, but you need more of it. It's not. There's a lot of schools that it's not just Texas. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'll give it to you for that. We'll say Texas A&M at Corpus Christi. So we'll give it to Omari. She played for Texas A&M at Corpus Christi. So yeah, okay, good. Yeah, Lauren Miles was actually a really, really good collegiate basketball player, and that is something that's important to her is to let people know that there isn't just one like really good basketball player in their family. She's also very good. Lauren. So good stuff. All right, next question. When CJ Miles was traded to the Washington Wizards, who was he traded for? He was traded from Memphis to Washington after we had traded him to Memphis for Marc Gasol. He got traded to Washington. Who did he get traded for in return from Washington to Memphis? He went to Wizards. Who did the Wizards send back to Memphis for him? Texas Tech. She's just naming them all. Dwight Howard is right, Omari. He was traded for Dwight Howard. Did y'all even know that? That CJ Miles was traded straight up for Dwight Howard? It's pretty crazy. I didn't know that until I did the research yesterday. Yeah, that's right. Omari is really killing it. All right, let's keep going. He typed that out. I'm sure he did. David's just being defiant. Listen, if it's obvious you're copying and pasting, listen, it's just too overwhelming. I can't have you just dump all the information like that. It's not fair. It's already not totally fair that you guys use the open book. It's just on another level. The mascot's name is Ready Bevo. Yeah, I don't think that's an answer. Okay, next question. How old was CJ when he started in the NBA? When he was drafted by the Utah Jazz and showed up at the Utah Jazz, how old was he, y'all? 18. Omari's got it. Man, he's right on it. That's right. He was the youngest Jazz player in the history of the Jazz at that time. I don't know if that's changed since. They may have had a younger player since, but CJ Miles is one of the youngest players to ever play in the league. And I don't know if everybody knew that. That's pretty interesting. All right, let's keep going. What? 12. Mike, come on. 12? Okay, what NBA player played the most games with CJ Miles as a teammate? Who played the most games with CJ Miles as a teammate in his career? What one guy played the absolute most games? Yeah, no, you're funny, Mike. 12. That's hilarious. Kolenko. That's a good guess. It is somebody kind of like that from his Utah days. It's not Andre Kirilenko, though, but it's a good guess, Omari. Boozer, Carlos Boozer's another good guess. It's not right either. Let's just say this player might be still playing in the league, honestly. Deron Williams is not right, but you're going through Utah Jazz kind of players that would be kind of right. This is the thing. CJ jumped around so much. This is going to be a player that played with him in Utah, but then maybe played with him in another couple places too, just because they were journeymen, both of them. Deron Williams is not right. Tom Duke, I don't know what you wrote. Mehmet Okur. Yeah, no, that's not exactly right. Now, listen to me real close. This player is still kind of playing in the league. I think he's still on a roster right now. So it's not Karl Malone. Hell no, it's not Karl Malone. And they're going to put Karl Malone on blast this All-Star weekend. Be ready for it. Ronnie Price. No, not Ronnie Price. I like that Omari's the only one guessing. Nobody else is guessing. Nobody knows who the teammate that CJ Miles played the most games with. Siakam was 12th on the list and was the highest Raptor. So it's not one of the Raptors, y'all. It's definitely a Utah Jazz. Go Bears way too late. All right, I'll give you guys more clues since Summer's asking. Like I said, this player, he played for it with him on the Jazz. He's still playing in the league, but he barely plays at all. And I think that the team he's still on is the Atlanta Hawks. I think he's on the Hawks right now. So if you can think of who used to be on the Jazz, it's still in the Hawks. It's like old as dirt. You know, DeLon Wright is not right. Mike Conley is not right. So somebody who's on the Hawks who's like very old. Bogdan? No, it's not Bogdan. Not either Bogdanovich. But these are decent guesses. This is somebody y'all are going to forget because he's kind of somebody everybody forgets all the time. Played for the Jazz, has been around forever, is playing for the Hawks currently. That's it. Tom got it. It's Paul Millsap. Actually, Tom Duke got it. It's Paul Millsap. Good job, Tom. He went and looked at the Hawks roster, and he probably saw it. And he's like, wait, it's Paul Millsap. That's right. CJ Miles played the most games with Paul Millsap as his teammate. Very, very cool. All right, let's do the reverse. What player did CJ Miles play the most games against as an opponent in his career? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's smart detective work. He went and looked at the Atlanta Hawks roster, and he's like, oh, the old guy is Paul Millsap. Kawhi is not right, Omari. I can start giving clues on this one, too. I want Summer Lowe to be like the referee in this game. She could start saying whether things are right or not. In some ways, I want to give her authority as an official. She should be the zebra. CP3? No, it's not Chris Paul. Those are good guesses, guys. And I like that both of y'all thought that at that time. Summer Lowe is trivia. I think the idea is if you don't know the answer, try looking it up. That's true. I mean, this trivia is really super hard. Like, if you know all this stuff off the top of your head, then you are the ultimate Raptor freak. I'm sorry. But a lot of these you will know off your head, but some of them you absolutely have to look up. Trust me. Tom Duke's laughing. Let's see. Brooke Lopez? No. Durant? No. Westbrook? No. All right. Let me give a clue on this one. This guy, he got LeBron really mad at him for screwing up in a game when they were on the Cavs together. I think that might have given it away right there. Also, this guy doesn't like to wear a shirt for some reason. That's right. Summer's got it. That clue was enough for her to know it's J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is the player that CJ played the most games against in his NBA career. I guess that gave it away, that LeBron clue, and that he doesn't like to wear a shirt. Summer Lowe getting on the board today. I love to see that. Maybe this will make her feel like it's more fair. All right, let's keep going. All right, next question. What is CJ Miles' career high, and what team was he on when he scored it? What is the most points CJ Miles ever scored in a game, and what team was he playing for at that present time? How many points, and what team was he on? It's always good to name the whole thing. 30 in Indiana, that's a good out of the blue guess, but it's wrong on both counts. We'll say that that's a low number for his career high. Let's just put it that way. And that's not the right teams, Omari. If you do get the team, I will say it. So Steve had got 3 guesses on this, and he got it wrong each time. He couldn't get it. That's because he played for so many teams. 42 Jazz. All right, Jazz is right. So Summer's going to get Jazz because that is right for the team, but that number is not correct. That is too high. Let's put it that way. 42 is too high. 39 is too low. How about that? You guys are really zeroing in on the number. 42 is too high and 39 is too low. Maybe we might get it. There you go. Space Cadet jumping in and stealing that in the last seconds. 40 points is the career high of CJ Miles. Got it in Utah early in his career. He got a 40-point game. Space Cadet coming in with the first comment of the day from Space Cadet getting points. Good to see Space Cadet. Yeah, 40 Jazz. That's right, Mike. But yeah, we've gotten that established already. All right, 2 more questions, y'all, on the CJ Miles Classic Jurassic Trivia today. What is CJ's handle on social media, guys? What is the name on his Instagram and his Twitter? If you went and looked at it, it's a nickname he uses with his friends, not one that he uses, I think, in the NBA. But do you guys know what his handle is on his Twitter and his Instagram? You can go just look at it. Kilometer J? No, that's not right, David. This is a question that you can't just Wikipedia. Don't trade me for Gasol. Summer Lowe's being official and a comedian today. I love it. There we go. Space Cadet's in first. Very close. Like Omari, you're right behind Space Cadet, but Space Cadet's got it. Mace Fresco. Fresco. I think it's like a hip hop handle, like maybe like if he performs or something like that. He's Mace Fresco. I don't know where he gets that name from. But yeah, that is the one that I was looking for. And Space Cadet just barely got it before Amari. Mo's in there too. I'll give Mo the points also. She got it in there. All right, one more question, y'all, for 25 points. CJ Miles has another famous person who has the exact same name as him. What is their occupation? What do they do? There's another famous CJ Miles. Can you tell me what they do? And we can see porn star. That is pretty much correct. Yes, Omari, that's a porn star. I'll take that as a valid answer. I was going to take Instagram model, but porn star's fine also. Yeah, he's not a jazz player. Yeah, he was a jazz player in the NBA and also a jazz player like playing the music named CJ Miles. That's what Steve thought. Steve thought he was like a musician. But no, it's a porn star. Omari's right. I don't know if she actually does porn, but she does do softcore Instagram modeling. Let's just put it that way. Lots of bikinis and things like that. So if you look up CJ Miles on Instagram, you'll probably find somebody totally different. All right. Omari, big time, big win today. Lots of questions answered by Omari today. We're going to have to see how much he jumps up the standings. And good to see trivia leader David Saborin today, and everybody. Tom Duke getting his quota of game points too in there and stuff like Summer Low. Good stuff, guys. Fantastic stuff on the Classic Jurassic Trivia today. Good job. Let me see if there's anything in the comments that I want to go back and look at again. I know that we were talking about Cam Thomas for a second there. So he got 47 after getting 44 the other day. Yee. Listen, I'm still kind of in this place where I don't want us to trade. I really want us to do very minimal. I don't want us to trade any of our big names. Like, if we're going to trade a big name, it should be Gary, and it's only because of his contract situation. Otherwise, let's not trade anybody. It's just keep it going the way it was. I don't know. You didn't know that was fast at trivia. Yeah, you're pretty good, Monique. You did good. You got at least 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 4 at least. So you got about 100 points today. So that's pretty good. We're gonna see where you're at in the scores. You're gonna rise up, I'm sure. All right, let me just look at a couple more things as far as like what I wanted to go over today. Pretty simple stuff. Raptors 905 losing by 3 last night to Maine Celtics. Let's get some revenge tomorrow when we play them during the day. I believe this game's during the day, or I don't know if it's at the same time as the Spurs game. But yeah, tomorrow we'll have a preview of the Raptors with the Spurs coming to Toronto tomorrow night. Hopefully we can kick their ass and continue this win streak. It'd be really good. Tom Duke saying, we were talking about B-ball movies the other day. Just read they are doing a White Men Can't Jump remake. Bet it's bad. Are they doing the actual movie, or is he doing it for his video? That's what I'm wondering. Jack Harlow, or isn't that the artist's name? He's like a hip hop guy. He did like the Kentucky Derby video with Drake. Apparently, he's filming a White Men Can't Jump. But when it's an artist like that, it's like, are they really doing a new whole movie, or are they doing a music video homage to White Men Can't Jump? See, that's not what I don't know. If they're doing a whole movie, it's a mistake. It's going to be awful. Jack Harlow cannot act, and he should not be playing Woody Harrelson's character. They should just do the video. Like, it's a song that he made, and that he may do like the element of the theme of it being White Men Can Jump. If they're making the whole movie, that's a big mistake. That's a huge mistake. I'm a fun guy saying, wow, my sleeping schedule has been fucked. Refreshing Twitter day and night, all night. Yeah, I know. Listen, I've been kind of doing that too. And part of the problem is Twitter's broken at this point. Since Elon took over, it's fucked. It doesn't refresh very well. You know, it's never really timely. Like, if you go on Twitter, your timeline will say this is from 4 hours ago. And you're like, I want to see what is current, what has come out in like the last minute or so. But it's not updated, and the infrastructure running Twitter has been gutted. There's no employees there running it anymore. And you can tell because it's a shitty service compared to what it was a year ago at this time. You know, when we dealt with the trade deadline last year, the Woj and the Shams watch is very intense, and we should be watching it very closely. Well, Twitter's broken. We can't watch the trade deadline very closely when Twitter is all fucked up because Elon fucking fucked it up by buying it and firing everybody. Yeah, it sucks. And you know what? Just put the Twitter away. We're going to find out one way or another quick enough anyway. Trust me. Yeah, it's a mess, fun guy. It totally is. Fun. Monique said, I agree with you on the trade deadline, Lex. Thanks, Monique. Yeah, I think that, you know, real Raptor fans, people that really care about this team, we just want to see good things happen. And I'm the same way as Cool Cat. I don't want to get too emotionally attached to the guys and see them leave. That sucks. I hate seeing it. When Jonas and DeMar left, it was hurtful for me. I wasn't in mourning for like a month after both of them. So, yeah, you get accustomed and you get used to these guys. You don't like seeing them go. So, seriously, Masai, don't break the hearts of Raptor fans by trading Pascal, Fred, or OG. We just do not need to deal with that right now. Summer saying the original wasn't that good, though. Wesley Snipes can't play ball at all in real life. You know, it's a cult classic, and it's just kind of an iconic movie. Maybe it's more iconic because of the idea of it and its place in pop culture than actually the acting and the storyline and the way it was. Sure. But listen, do you think that Jack Harlow is going to be able to do a better job than Woody Harrelson? And like, who's going to be playing the other part? Wesley Snipes. I just don't have any faith in it. I think if he's gonna do like he's cosplaying White Men Can't Jump for a music video that he's making, that's fine. But if he's trying to make a whole 2-hour movie where he's got to act, yeah, that's gonna be a disaster. That dude can't act. Jack Harlow, who the fuck is that? That guy can barely do music. He's like a made up pop star. The VIP to put you in first class. The fucking guy, he's a joke. Seriously. All right, let's see. David's saying Wesley's like 70 now. Maybe they'll replace him. I hope they do. They should. Although, Wesley can be 70 years old, but he's a vampire. So he lives forever because that's Blade. That man could be 70 and he still looks 30. It's like, he looks so young still. Wesley Snipes is a weird actor. I've always really liked Wesley Snipes. I was a big fan of Demolition Man because of the Rodman influence of his character. He was so much playing like Dennis Rodman in Demolition Man with Sylvester Stallone. But yeah, Wesley's an interesting actor. And it's weird how he kind of just dropped off the face of the earth. I know he got into tax trouble and he was like being like in trouble where he had to go to jail for it, which is crazy. Some are saying Woody can play it though. Yeah, Woody could probably do it still. I know he looks very much older though. It would have to be like a later on thing. Like maybe they do a whole thing where they show up and they're old and they're still trying to hustle people. Like I would think it would be more fun to, instead of getting young people, get the original guys and do a like update that they're still out there hustling people at like 60. I think that would be pretty good. That would be an enjoyable game. You see them get hurt or something like, oh, my A-League. Oh, I shouldn't have been playing. I'm too old. Something like that. Mike saying, because we can fix the salary by dropping $5 to $7 million for next year and hold the starters for another year before deciding what happens when Siakam and Precious money comes out the books, we might not see anything but a small trade because of that. That's interesting. So maybe a little housekeeping, kind of like what we were saying, a little bit of a chess gambit where you kind of do a move ahead of time to set up a couple moves before that somebody said yesterday. I really like that idea. And I think that that's true. That maybe this trade deadline will be used as a set like in volleyball and not the spike. Maybe it's just a set to set up a spike in the off season. And I like that. I like the idea of that, Mike. Monique saying, we will update you on the interview with Bobby, guys. Listen, I'll be watching that too, Monique, and we will definitely be talking about it tomorrow, what he said for sure. Some are saying if Raptors do nothing, Trent and Fred can walk for nothing, though. Well, I would say this. Let's think about the trust we had with Kyle Lowry in that situation, the same kind of situation before he left that summer. It could very well be that Fred has an understanding with the Raptors to do a sign and trade if he really does want to leave. Now, I'm not totally sold on either one of them are probably leaving, but if one of them is Gary, because I think Fred meant it at the beginning of the season when he said, I want to be a Toronto Raptor for life. And some people that may bug them because they don't want Fred on the team anymore and they're kind of sick of him in certain ways, but it doesn't bug me because in some ways loyalty is so valuable. And then in some ways, this is a guy who hasn't quit or given up on us. Why will we give up on him? He's just such an important part of our culture and what we do here in Toronto that I believe him and that I would trust Fred in any situation that he would still try and circle back and make him and try and stay here. In any such situation. I know that sounds a little bit like, well, he could test the free market and end up being on Chicago or Orlando all of a sudden. But still, even the way they dealt with Kyle looks so successful. Fred probably would do the same thing. And if he's going to go somewhere else, it'll be a sign and trade. So I don't know with Gary, though, if it'll happen. And we may just straight up lose Gary. But with Fred, I would trust him in that way, like we trusted Kyle at that time. So Forgetful saying, don't worry, no chance the Nets will give up CT for Gary. Watch at least the highlights from the Nets' last 2 games when CT finally got minutes. CT? Who's CT? Cam Thomas. Oh, yeah. CT. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to deal with the Nets. The only person I want from the Nets is Claxton with possibly Durant. Otherwise, Yuta, whatever. But otherwise, I don't want any of them. I really don't want any of them. Cool Cat saying first heartbreak was Vince Carter. Second attachment, Kyle, DeMar era, Pascal, Fred, OG, same era. We need a lifer at this point. Scotty era, I will just be team no more personality attachment anymore. Yeah, listen, don't let it kill you for loving the guys and being like that, cool cat. Don't let it kill you for that. Chris Bosh broke my heart too. Vince Carter broke my heart. The deals that Masai made broke my heart. But this is just the nature of the business. Listen, we can have it family, but like I said, you got to understand and cherish and relish the time that you have together. That it's not guaranteed. It's really kind of a good thing for all of life in general to look at in the same way that life is short. You have a limited time together and really make the best of it and most of it enjoy it. And in the NBA, your time together could be very short. You could have a player on your team for 3 months and then they're traded once again. So yeah, I would not caution you to stop getting attached to players because it's just your heart and that's just how you are. I'm the same way. But in some ways, you just got to also, like the players do, have to tell yourself it's the business. It's a business. And that is part of what dictates this. And that's what they say. Well, it's a business. And we got to be the same way as fans. As fans, we got to be the same way. Guardian saying Dallas trade, very weird. Summer saying Bargnani is a heartbreak on his own. Listen, when Bargnani got traded, it was celebratory because it was one of the first Masai deals. It was super awesome. And like, we didn't think we'd be able to trade his contract. Well, he was successful in trading it to the Knicks. And I was like, wow. And like, in a way, that was a celebratory thing. I don't hate Bargnani. I love Bargnani. In fact, I really respect his place in the Raptors history. In some ways, I respect him more than some of the more celebrated Raptors, like Bosh and Carter. And, it's really just because, the dude didn't do us wrong, really. He tried. He was a European player that didn't really fit the NBA. And in a lot of ways, he was ahead of his time. Like, if Bargnani was in the league right now, he would be one of the best players, like, in some ways. He'd be like Danilo Gallinari. He'd be very, very good. In today's NBA, he just was a little ahead of his time. He didn't fit as well in the physicalness of the NBA at that time, but now he would be amazing. Trust me. 3-point shooting center like him, he would really fit today's NBA. So it's just, we were maybe 10 years too early, something like that. All right, let's see. Fun guy saying, I want no Nets either. Laughing my ass off. I want Pelicans players if we're dealing any of our core, but I would take Ben Simmons and picks and stuff for OG. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Ben Simmons for OG? No way, man. But yeah, I like Pelicans. I like Grizzlies. There's certain teams that have very attractive players on their team that I would deal with for sure. Let's see. Facts. The journey is what it's about. It's not just the results. Well, that's the thing. They tell you, listen, if you're only just trying to hurry up and get to the end of it and see the results and feel that goodness, you're not going to be disappointed. That half of the stuff to enjoy is the process. It's the whole journey of getting to the goodness of the championship. And that we all need to stop and really soak in and enjoy those moments on the journey, on the way to it. And I love that. That's very wise. Tom Duke saying Nets wanting Siakam and giving us Ben and Claxton is like me trading my truck for some hand tools. Tom Duke. Yeah, I guess in some ways. I don't know. Saborn saying you wouldn't trade Siakam for Claxton and Simmons? Can we get just Durant straight up for Siakam? How about that? I would do that trade. But no, I wouldn't do that. I don't want Ben Simmons. Dude, that guy's a aloof goof. There's no reason you want to get aloof goof on your team. First of all, I question his intelligence. And second, I question his heart. And then third, I question whether he would even like try or be here. When's he going to just check out and like clock out and say, yeah, I'm not mentally here. I can't be here for the team. I have to stay home. Yeah, he's garbage. He's fool's gold at this point. His prestige and who he is not real. And I'm not stupid enough or foolish enough to buy into getting him and treating him like he's an NBA golden boy or one of the top players in the league. I don't believe that. I've never believed that about him, even in his height and all the golden boy shit that was thrown at him, rookie of the year and all this stupid ass shit when he was in Philadelphia. I never believed that. I always thought he was a garbage player because first of all, to be good in the NBA, you got to be able to shoot. And he can't shoot. So he's a garbage player. That's a non-starter for me, especially for a team like ours that struggle with field goal percentage all year. No, we're not adding to lowering our field goal percentage by getting Ben Simmons. No, fuck that. No way. Cool Cat saying exactly. Leave sports emotion alone, just for family and friends. Raptors market our players so personally to us. That's part of the problem. Yeah, and we should have connections to them and feel this. Cool Cat. I know it's tough, but you know what? In some ways, this is a good lesson in life for how we can deal with these kind of things in a kind of a safer way. I know it hurts, and it still hurts just as much as maybe a breakup with a partner or something like that. But at the same time, also there's a detachment from it, and there's a space where you're allowed to kind of deal with those kind of emotions in a healthy way. And maybe it helps you in your regular life in dealing with these kind of situations also, because it gives you more perspective and time dealing with this kind of stuff. So in some ways, even if it seems like it's a problem or it sucks, everything is an opportunity. And in some ways, it's maybe like a safer tester for dealing with heartbreak and sadness over loss, is losing an NBA player on your team. Much better than like when you have to deal with it in a real way in your real life with a loved one that you lose. So that's what I'll say. I mean, I guess about it. If you want to see it, spin it positive in some sort of way, I guess. Tom's saying, I love him too much, maybe. Yeah, I'm with this. I'm on the love train for our Raptors, OG Anunoby. Fuck that. I like Claxton, but I do not like Simmons. Fuck Simmons. Let's see. Mike saying Bargnani is like Markkanen. Yeah, he could have maybe been like Markkanen at this point. I mean, his defense is the only knock. But listen, he could play small forward in today's NBA, and he would be hidden from not having to do anything low post. Summer's saying, I love Bargnani too. It's sad he got abandoned and thrown to New York. Listen, his career was actually on the down low very successful. Everybody likes to say he's a bust because he was the number one pick, and maybe he didn't fulfill like a number one pick like identity overall his whole career, but he had a long career. He was very successful. He accumulated a lot of stats, and he did a lot of interesting, very cool things. And I don't poo-poo his importance in the place of the Raptors history. A lot of people think he's a joke, but I don't. I know the truth that this man was scoring around 20 points a game, and he could get us like 10 rebounds too around that time too. And I remember that. And I love Bargnani too. He's always going to be important to the Raptors franchise because he is a number one pick in our history. This is the first ever number one pick. We got to pick first in the draft, and that's who we picked. And unlike other people that have been number one picks that have been complete and utter failures, he is not one of those. Trust me. Some people like to lump him in as in the bust list, but that's not true. If you look at how much he did over his career, much like Joe Smith, he's not a bust. Everybody thinks Joe Smith's kind of a bust too. No, that man played a long time in the league and had a very successful career. So it's like, there's different levels of bust. Michael Olowokandi, Sam Bowie, Greg Oden. And then you got Bargnani, healthy, played like 10, 12 years in the league, had good stats, was almost an all-star even with his stats. So Space Cadet saying, nobody wants Ben Simmons, one of the worst contracts in the NBA. Yeah, forget about the skill set. Forget about the fact that he would lower our field goal percentage. That what is the value on what you're paying him? What are you getting for the amount that you're paying him? And do we want that albatross sour around our necks in the salary cap? His fucking contract. So right there, that's the biggest reason not to get anywhere near Ben Simmons on this team. Yeah, no way. No way. And Summer's echoing it. If we get Simmons, I'll give up on this team. No way he's worth 30 to 40 million per year. Exactly. Exactly. That is it. Give me Mo Bamba, right, Lex? I don't know. I know you like Mo Bamba. You were talking about him all last summer, Monique. And I'm all about him too. But like recently, that whole fracas with him made me question his intelligence. Really dumb fight that he got into, and really kind of stupid. I didn't like that. That made him look bad, honestly. Austin Rivers looked bad too, and he's older. He should know better. But yeah, that kind of pissed me off. But you know what? If we can keep him under reins and keep him like cool and be a good citizen, hey, he would fit because he's a center, and we could add that to like maybe possibly being that veteran center that we need in the place of Koloko as he's getting better to sit in that spot until he's ready. So Fun guy saying, yeah, I don't believe in Simmons right now, but imagine our team right now with OG not playing and adding Simmons at point guard and picks. Yeah, I don't like that team. I don't like that team at all, fun guy. First of all, we don't need Simmons. We don't need any kind of point guard guy. We don't really need him for his defense. We don't. All these skills are not needed on our team. It's like all you're getting is a contract that's just overblown, and you just don't need that in your salary cap. I don't value any of his skills for our team. Let's just put it that way. I do not. I think that we have most of his skills already. Anthony Bennett, that's a great example of a bust first pick from Canada. Somebody that we wanted to be great, but he really didn't turn out very well. Anthony Bennett's a great first pick bust for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cool Cat saying, I would trade Gary Trent Jr. when he's off offensively. He's not able to contribute anything. And Clutch, his agent would want money for his contract for his age, 24 to 27, as big first payday. Lots of pure shooters. Yeah, I think that in some ways Gary is the guy who's kind of odd man out, and he always has been, and he always knows that. And even Masai and Bobby, the way they've talked about him the last couple of years, I think they kind of knew that this is going to happen at this point. So be braced for that. That Gary may be the guy who is moving. And that may be because, like, all right, Fred does a sign and trade, or he just straight up signs an extension and stays with us. But Gary, we trade right now, and maybe we get some things for him right now. I don't know, because Cool Cat's right. If Gary's not hitting his shot and he's not dialed in on defense properly, he's useless out there. He's not going to get rebounds, and he's not going to really cause a lot of assists. He'll get some steals, but that's about it. And if he's taking a lot of shots and missing a lot, because like right now he's totally on this year, but there are going to be times where he is on this new contract he's about to sign, and he's going to be cold, 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 and not hitting anything. And that at that point, people are going to be like, why the fuck did we just sign this guy to this huge contract when he's not doing jack shit for us because he's missing right now? So I could really see that happening because he is a little bit of a streak shooter. And if he gets into a bad area where he's not hitting shots and just sign a new contract, a lot of Raptor fans are going to be upset. So Mike's going to say, played like a year in the NBA, not going to lie. Bennett, he was on the Raptors for a split second after that little bit of time, and it was a fail here too. We gave him a chance on our team too. Thad was on the Wolves when Bennett was there. Yeah, he was around Cleveland, Minnesota, a really big disappointment. And the story about Bennett is that he just didn't work hard enough as a big guy. He had all the skills and all the tools to be a good NBA player, but he didn't work hard enough. He didn't care enough. He didn't have the fight in him to make himself into a good player. He was lazy. And that's why he did not make himself have an NBA career, because he was lazy. Yeah, he was a bust. Fiercely saying Mo Bamba has behavioral issues. Not sure he will mesh well with the team. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Fiercely saw it too the other day. I was like, there's something weird about Bamba with like how quick he's ready to throw hands there. Summer saying, what if Ben Simmons for like a bunch of Raptors fodder? That might be interesting. No. Because either way he comes here, the contract comes with him. That's why, in some ways, these guys like Kyrie and Russell and Ben Simmons are just not very easy to trade because they're not worth their money that they're already entitled to get. And that's why you just don't touch them. You don't want that contract. And if we're going about how Bobby and Masai are shrewd and like you're dealing with them as like getting blood from a stone, yeah, they're too smart to take Ben Simmons to come here. I think that he's not even on any kind of like list anywhere in what they're doing of like considering. I don't think that they even consider him just because of the money responsibility with him and that they know that it's a big mistake right off the bat. So I don't think they're even talking about Ben Simmons. Maybe the Nets are trying to do something to deal something to get Fred with Ben Simmons, and we're probably laughing at them. we probably are. We're probably laughing at them like crazy. Omar's saying, I heard Bennett likes the Henny. Yeah, well, maybe he likes it even more at this point. I hope he's not an alcoholic and he's in a bad place in his life. I wish him well. Great Canadian, a number one pick, Anthony Bennett. But yeah, I hope he's doing okay. Let's see. Summer, Tom, you saying I like that? You like it if he gets traded for a bunch of fodder? Fuck that, Tom Duke. We don't have to gut our bench, which we don't really have a good bench just to get him. No, it's still going to be a big contract and a chunk of our salary cap that we don't want to hold up with him. Yeah. Kem and Boucher and Thad for him? No, I wouldn't even do that. No, those guys are more valuable to me than having Ben Simmons. I'm sorry. Chris Boucher, I'd much rather have him on our team than Ben Simmons. Kem, he's hurt. I wish he played more. Thaddeus is worth while having, but no, I wouldn't trade those three for him. Yeah, the money just kills him. It's just it's a non-starter. It's like as soon as you see that he needs to get between more than any of our other guys are on the team, no, he shouldn't be paid more than Siakam. He shouldn't be paid more than Fred. So I'm like, fuck that. No way. No, 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 no. Fun guy saying, what I will say, Lex, is from everything going on, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I think Masai is seriously going to do trades, massive ones. Even I'm excited. I can't lie. The anticipation of maybe nothing or maybe a lot happening. Yeah, I get it, fun guy. Well, let's see what this press conference is like with Bobby Webster today. See what he has to say exactly about the state of affairs with the Raptors and the front office and what they're thinking. So we'll have to see what he says. That may answer a lot of questions, what Bobby says at the microphone today. Some are saying the Raptors brain trust loves Ben. Really? Do they? I don't know. Maybe they do. I don't. I don't. And I mean, I just don't see it. I know they're smart and savvy. This is not a good player to acquire. Not at this point. In fact, Ben Simmons going to the Nets was really just to unload one problem for another problem and vice versa. And like in some ways, he's still kind of that same problem. And I don't want to get unloaded with a problem. And the problem at this point is his balloon contract is so huge. Let's see. Tom Dukes thinks Chris Boucher is better than Ben Simmons. I would agree with that. And we're super biased. We're Canadian. He's Canadian. He's a Raptor. We don't really like Ben Simmons. But I would still say that. I value Chris Boucher being on the Raptors more than possibly getting Ben Simmons. And some people may say, oh, that's crazy talk, Lex. Well, I don't think Ben Simmons is a very good basketball player. I really don't. I never have thought that. A whole time, even when we were playing them in that playoff series, the famous one with Kawhi, I thought he was hot garbage. I was like, why is everybody talking so great about this dude? Honestly, I don't think he's that good, and I never have thought he's that good. Mike saying the issues with Simmons is first the money, second spacing is an issue. Adding another non-shooting forward won't work. Third, we have a Simmons type player at the moment, Barnes, but Scotty Barnes is learning to shoot. See, that's what I'm saying. Everything that Ben Simmons can do, Scotty can do. And in fact, he can do it better. And like he said, we have a lot of guys that aren't very good shooters already. We don't need to add another guy who's even worse than the guys that we already have on the team. You were saying Flynn for Ben? Tom Dukes? Malachi Flynn straight up for Ben Simmons? I don't think the money lines up. I don't think that money lines up right, Tom. Some are saying, I think the brain trust is working a strategy. They're just throwing Pascal for Ben Simmons trade out there to get the Nets thinking about Pascal first. Ben Simmons' defensive and analytics are off the charts, though. I still don't think we need him. Listen, that's like such a little small part of his game in some ways. I know some people say he's such a great defensive player, but I don't believe that either. I really don't. I have no faith in him in any kind of way. And I think he's so overhyped. Like, I think he's one of the most overhyped players in recent NBA history that people talk so much up about him. And he's such a clown to me. And I really don't think he's a good player. I really, really don't. You guys talking him up so much is funny to me in some ways. Cool Cat saying trade Flynn for a second round pick like we did Matt Thomas, and he should remain nameless on Kings. Fill empty spot for a center and use hardship rule for a player, Porter. Wow, Cool Cat. That's actually a very interesting strategy of moves. I don't totally hate that at all, and I think that's very realistic to possibly. Not that they're going to get rid of Malachi. I'm not sure. Kenrick's here. Good to see Kenrick, Chronic Art, James. Y'all, if you need any art commissioned or a tattoo, even Kenrick is a tattoo artist and a great artist in general that will do commissioned work for you. If you're interested, look up Kenrick, Chronic Art, James on Facebook, and you can get in contact with them. Summer saying, if people don't want to pay Fred, why do you think we want Ben Simmons? Yeah, do people not understand that the price is what the price is here? Because he fits 6'9" vision. Yeah, I think Fred fits 6'9" vision too in a way. Yeah, just not the can't shoot for shit part. It's really bad, like how bad he shoots. It's comical to me. And in some ways, if you're not getting better as a shooter this far into your NBA career, you're never going to get good as a shooter. And we shouldn't expect him to ever be good at shooting. So why would we want him? Seriously, this league you're talking about how we don't want Jakob Poeltl because he can't make outside shots. Well, now you have a guard forward who can't make outside shots. That's just as bad at like not stretching the floor out or causing good things like in that way. If you have the same logic about Poeltl, you should have the same logic about Simmons because he can't shoot threes. We know that. All right, let's see. Fun guy saying, I think you guys are forgetting who Simmons was without Embiid. And even with Embiid just years ago, his steals, rebounding, defense, he can be an elite skill set. His mental is what bothers me. There's just too much that bothers me about him. He's flaky. Honestly, I don't think he's very smart either. Like his intelligence, I wonder about his intelligence. Like, I don't think he's a very intelligent person. I think he's a himbo, if you know what that means. It's kind of like he's not like bright. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Nameless 2, no relation to the OG Nameless. She was referring to Terrence Davis, is what she was referring to. Terrence Davis, when we traded him to Sacramento. That's what Cool Cat was referring to when she said nameless, who shall not be named. Sue's here. Good morning to Sue. Check out Sue's YouTube channel, Play It Again Sue. Always doing music reactions to videos and songs with her friend Chelsea and other people. Such a fun, entertaining YouTube channel. Play It Again Sue. Check it out. And she's saying no to Simmons also. And I'm with Sue. And I'm with Monique on this one. No to Simmons. Forgetful saying trading for fit is the way to go, not trading for stars. That's why I think Nets won the trade. And with respect, Lex, why I think the Nets will contend. Raps 6'9" needs a second good point guard, however, tall. Okay. All right. I don't think they're going to contend. Seriously. All right. First of all, Durant is still out, and they've got Simmons running things, and now he's going to be the guy by himself. Well, this will be a time where we got to see Simmons without Kyrie or Kevin running the Nets. And whether a lot of what you guys are saying right now without Embiid or this time in Philadelphia, he was able to be a certain level player. Well, let's go ahead and see right now that Kyrie is gone, what we're seeing is Cam Thomas step up and be the man for the Nets. And in some ways, I know Simmons is not really a scorer. Maybe he's the facilitator. But that's what I'm saying. Can the Nets win without Kyrie on the team now and with Kevin out? This is going to be on Ben Simmons' shoulders. Will they win? Well, let's see if they're a winning team right now. I don't believe it. I really don't. Spencer is a good scorer, and he'll come back, and he'll fill some of the void of Kyrie, but he's not going to fill that game time. I'm going to take over and win this game for us at the end of the game like he did to us twice this year when Brooklyn played Toronto. So, listen, the X factor of clutch and all the extra stuff that Kyrie has is gone from the Nets. And a lot of that is closing the game and making them win. And I don't know if they've got that at this point. So I have no faith in the Nets getting better at this point. I have to be exactly the opposite of what Forgetful's saying here, that I don't have any faith. In fact, I think they're about to fall in the standings pretty far. In fact, they may fall into the play-in, if not right out of the playoffs by the end of the year. I'm going to bet that right now. And some of it may have to do with when Kevin comes back. If Kevin's gone too long, they'll fall. Now, if Kevin comes back sooner and he can get something good going in between him and Spencer Dinwiddie and Ben Simmons, then maybe they have a chance. But I think they may be a play-in team by the end of the year, if not completely out of the playoffs. I really, really don't think the Nets did good in this trade. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, they did good in this one. Maybe they got picks for later that'll help. But getting Dorian Finney-Smith and Spencer Dinwiddie is so ho-hum, and it doesn't make them better. Trust me, they're not better now. They're going to be much worse. Kyrie Irving was like one of their best players for sure. And he himself personally willed them to wins all the time. And that's gone. That is gone. It's David saying, who wants Poeltl? Laugh out loud. I know. You love him. We love the bromance between him and Pascal. We want Pascal to have more smiles. He's been really down lately. He's been really worn out. Well, bring Poeltl in. And Poeltl all of a sudden will perk him up and be like, yay, my best friend's back. And he knows our system. He has a familiarity. And I just love his defensive stuff that he does. It's something we could really use. That, having Poeltl to go up against Zubac and Steven Adams and big centers like that, Nurkic, is a good thing. And that's why he may not be able to shoot threes, and he may not be good at the free throw line. These are the biggest knocks. But there's a lot of good things about him that I like too. But I'm not as hard up to get Poeltl back on our team as I was maybe last summer at this point. Kenrick saying OG's better than Ben and way cheaper. Yes, I would agree with this. I think the OG's a way better defensive player. I think the OG's better on offense. He's a way better three-point shooter. He's just a better player all in general. I like OG Anunoby way, way more than Ben Simmons. And I know a lot of people say, well, Ben Simmons is better than OG. I'll fucking argue that all over the place. All over the place. And I'm with Kenrick on this. Summer saying we'd want Poeltl if Pascal is still around for it, since they're such good friends and all. But if Pascal is gone, there's almost no point in getting Poeltl. Yeah, I agree with this. Summer's exactly right. If Pascal's around, Poeltl makes sense. If not, then why? There's no reason to get him. It really is a move to help Pascal have good vibes. Tom Duke saying Paul B would say Ben or Jacob do not qualify for consideration as Raptors. If you can't shoot, you can't be a Raptor. I think that should be a thing. Yeah, that's what Paul B was trying to say the other day. Is like we have this model of 6'9" that we keep trying to acquiring. Well, maybe one of the standards that we say was like, all right, you have to have good character. You have to have this to be a Raptor. Well, maybe we need to start making one of the things you have to have is you have to be a good shooter. Paul B suggested this the other day in a comment, and Tom's bringing it up again. I think he's exactly right. That from now on, when you're bringing new people in, Bobby and Masai, you might need to factor in how are they going to add to our field goal percentage and whether we're going to become a better shooting team overall because of their addition. If there's somebody who's coming in and they're going to make us a worse shooting team, well, maybe that should be a big back. No, we're not doing that. So, yeah, I like this also, Tom, and I'm glad you brought it up and gave the credit to Paul B because he was the one who did bring this up the other day saying, well, maybe a new standard for getting new players is can they shoot or not? And I think that that is a smart thing to do as far as how we build from now. Space Cadet saying, I've never liked Ben, never since Simmons Kyle threatened to fight him and we turned in. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he's a punk. He's a little bitch. Like, seriously, you didn't see his ass sitting out that whole time. And I'm sorry. Listen, I understand mental health problems are a big issue. But in some ways, I think part of that was convenient for a means to the ends to get out of Philadelphia. You know, in some ways, if he's really truly had some serious problems, I want to be like understanding and like think of him and be okay. But in some ways, he could have been using that excuse, and in some ways, that's kind of wrong to like make light of mental health just so you could sit out because you're unhappy with your contract. But I don't know what's true or not. He could be very seriously having mental health problems, so I won't touch it that way. But there is a possibility of what I'm saying is that he just made it up as something to just strong arm his way out of Philadelphia. I won't say that he did that for sure, but the possibility that he did do that is there. And he's just making this shit up and saying, oh, I don't feel good mentally or something like that. I understand people have mental problems. Everybody deals with stuff. I've dealt with stuff in my past too. And I don't want to poo-poo it. But also, seriously, you're in the NBA, bro. You're getting paid millions of dollars. In some ways, it's hard. I understand. But that's why you get paid millions of dollars. So, it's crazy. All right, let's keep going. Fun Guy's saying, I would, however, climb to the tallest building and attempt to fly if we ever traded Siakam for Ben and picks. Whoa, I don't want you doing that. Talking about mental health. Fun Guy, I will talk you down. You do not need to get on that ledge. Yeah, it may have been a mistake by Bobby and Masai, but hopefully maybe there's another deal where they're going to turn around and send him somewhere else right immediately after. Because that would not make any sense to me either. But I wouldn't take that extreme where you're going up and jumping off a building. No way, don't do that. Monique saying, is this becoming a Ben Simmons show? Yes, I guess he's just a flavor of the day. He's the topic du jour. Raptors fans are talking about Ben Simmons today. I think it's bullshit. I know the deal is actually Ben Simmons for Fred, y'all. It's not even OG. They want Fred in Brooklyn. And they were talking about Spencer Dinwiddie and Ben Simmons for Fred or something like that. Either way, I don't want Ben Simmons. I don't want none of them Nets except for Claxton. Claxton's fine, and Durant possibly. Mike saying the picks are like way future, like prime Luka if he stays in Dallas. 2029, 2027 picks are okay since they unloaded all their picks for Harden. So picks are being amassed to fix the no number ones for the Nets. Okay, that's cool. I don't totally understand that all in the context, but it's cool. All right, Angry Mexicans here. Charlotte Hornets Nation in the house. What up? What you think if Kyrie accepts the role as co-star, plays off the ball on offense, and at least plays average on defense? Do you see that duo going past the second round? What a great question by Charlotte Hornets fan, Angry Mexican. This is going to be very interesting to see. We're going to know right away whether Kyrie and Luka is going to work or not. As soon as they start playing together, we're going to see if it actually seems like a fit or not. And we'll have to see with their playing styles. In some ways, it's true. Luka should have the ball, but what? Maybe not. Kyrie is that guy too, and he may be able to find Luka off the ball better. It'll be very telling what Jason Kidd draws up for the coach's plan, having these new weapons, this new weapon, Kyrie, next to Luka. And we'll have to see if it does actually fit, if it does a natural fit where they are actually really working off each other. Now, as far as like how far they're going to go in the playoffs, I don't think they'll go very far still because part of the problem is up front for Dallas. They don't really have like good skill up there. I know Christian Wood is okay, but in some ways they're overmatched. And Luka can single-handedly do so much, and Kyrie also. But in some ways, they're not very much a complete team still. That they really were like a team with one really good player this whole year, being Luka, and then a little bit of okay from Christian Wood off the bench. But they're not very good overall. Their roster kind of sucks, honestly. And if it's like the Luka and Kyrie show now, they may not have enough weapons to really battle in the West in the playoffs. So I don't have any faith in them to make huge noise in the postseason. They get to the second round, that may be as good as they do. So let's put it that way. Some are saying, I know it's a long shot. I really hope we get Durant somehow. Is it completely a long shot or not? I know he's not publicly saying it yet, but we know he's going to probably say he doesn't want to be in Brooklyn without Kyrie. So we'll have to see what happens. I know he's not totally thrilled with playing with Ben Simmons. He's never really liked Ben Simmons. I'm pretty positive about this. So it's very likely that Kevin will want to leave there. But the thing is, his contract is still under like a couple years. So he is technically on the hook to be in Brooklyn for a while. But he could raise a stink just like Kyrie. And I know that Joe Tsai, one of the things that he wants to do with Brooklyn is clear out the toxic. And I know that him dealing Kyrie and giving him what he wanted, not totally what he wanted, but getting him out of there is part of him cleaning it up in his team that he owns. And that he may look at Kevin as being toxic also as part of the problem. And that he may be willing to trade him then. And then, the other thing with us, the fact that our season's gone so poorly, we may be way more willing to do some of the deals that were offered between us and Brooklyn last summer in this Kevin Durant talks. That we may be more likely to pull that OG and Gary for Kevin Durant trade that was on the table last year. That could very well happen now. And I hate to see OG and Gary go, but that was the deal last year that was on the table, and they wanted more. But in some ways, if it helps both teams, they might do it at this point. OG and Gary and a first round pick or something or two for Kevin Durant straight up. That was the deal that was that was the most realistic deal that was going to bring Kevin here. Brooklyn didn't like it totally, but they may revisit it at this point. So we'll have to see. Some are saying even the Knicks fans are trying to come up with packages to pry Durant from the Nets. Phoenix is a big one. In fact, Phoenix may be the front runner because in some ways they can do the Ayton for Durant trade very easy. It could be like Durant for Ayton and Crowder going to the Nets, and that's very attractive to the Nets, I'm sure. So I think that Phoenix may be the most likely landing place for Kevin Durant at this point. We may be in the top 3 of teams that could possibly land him. But I think Phoenix is the front runner, and they are probably most likely going to get Kevin in a Phoenix Suns jersey at some point soon. Sue's saying, I think that Kyrie and Luka will do all right together, but I don't think this team is going too far. I don't think they will be that much better. Yeah, I wonder about this. I really do, because I still feel like obviously they're very guard heavy, almost point guard heavy, but really up front. Dwight Powell's a great defender, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of holes with this Dallas team. I don't think they're as good as they were last year. I think they were better when they had Porzingis on the team. So, yeah, they're in a weird place, Dallas Mavericks. And getting Kyrie kind of seemed like a desperate move in some ways to me because they really do know that Luka not having more help is a problem. It really has shown this year. Mike's saying people got to understand trades within your own division are harder to get done. GMs don't want to face the players traded 4 times a year. So paying changes when they're closer direct effect like in division. What? Okay. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But I understand what he's saying, the gist of it. It's like, yeah, if you can get away with, if you're an Eastern team, you want to trade your best guys to the West and vice versa. because you'd like to see them less. And this is very true. Like dealing directly with the Nets, being so close to us in the Atlantic Division, is risky. And you really do have to tread lightly and be very smart about what's happening with this. As far as like you're going to make your division opponent way, way better, that may make it harder for you to make the playoffs. So yeah, you got to really think about all that for sure. Forgetful saying Nets had Simmons where he belongs last couple games on the bench in street clothes. Clippers won late in the game with Kawhi and PG feasting on Joe. What's his name? Joe Harris. Yeah. Listen, whatever. That's what I'm saying. The guy's still missing games here and there. Fun guy saying, "Ew, I don't think Aiton in a package for Durant is better than an OG package to me, to be honest." Well, it's really not up to us. It's up to Joe Tsai and what he thinks is the best thing coming to his team for what he wants to build with a non-toxic foundation after this big three experiment has gone totally nuclear and sucked and is now ending. Well, Aiton's a good center, and we're possibly looking at getting him somehow also. So I don't know. I want these 3 days to end. I just want to get to Thursday and just get this fucking shit over with. I'm sick of the trade deadline. I hate the trade deadline. I hate all this extra talk. In fact, I much rather on this channel just talk about the games and do what we normally do. And when we do so much speculation, it just annoys me. It really does. It starts annoying me at some point. I'm like, we could talk about all this forever and none of it matters. Let's just wait and see what they do. I'm sure that they're going to do something smart. Sue's agreeing with Fun Guy also. Yeah, but we're partial to OG. We're definitely partial to him. All right, let me finish this up just before 90 minutes comes up. I thank you for the like. I appreciate it. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share if you enjoy the Raptor Freaks channel. And I will be back tomorrow, 9:30, for a preview of the San Antonio game against the Raptors at Scotiabank Arena. The first game back after a long road trip. Hopefully the guys can be back and strong and sharp and focused and not like lackadaisical because they got back to the creature comforts of home in the last couple of days and they're feeling lazy and a little exhausted because of so much traveling. Well, hopefully they got all that out of the way yesterday and a bit today, and they won't be feeling that tomorrow because that is the phenomena that hurts you when you come back from a long road trip in your first home game is you're relieved and you're kind of like a little bit like, oh, I'm back home and there's my dog Cardi and life is good. But now you got to be like serious because you still have games and you can't be like totally letting your guard down just because you got home and you're feeling relaxed. So Raptors, be ready for the Spurs. They're still a good team, even if they're in the bottom of the Western Conference. And it's still Greg Popovich. And it's still like they are dangerous on any given night. They come up and overachieve and beat teams they have no business beating. And we don't want to be one of those kind of teams tomorrow. So we need to take this very seriously. So tomorrow we'll do the preview. I'll have the refs. I'll have the latest lineup information and the real mascot matchup, of course. Let's see. Summer's saying, do you think this is the first time in Raptors history that we have so many players up for trade and doing a fire sale? Ooh. I'm trying to think about way back. And I know Summer's an old Raptors fan, so she knows a lot about way back too. I mean, we got to think about around the end of when Vince was here. We did kind of a fire sale a bit around then just because it was a changing of the guard. I mean, we had all those guys that went to the playoffs, the older guys, and they started leaving. I don't know. It's never been exactly like this. Like, we've never been the belle of the ball of the trade deadline like we are right now. We're obviously the team that everybody's courting and trying to talk to get some of our players to help them get over the hump to get to a championship. And we've never been positioned in that position before. I can honestly say that. So this is a unique position that we've never been in for sure as a franchise. So yeah. I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't describe what we're doing as a fire sale. I look at what we're doing as we have a collection of things that we collected that are very, very, very valuable, and that other people in the neighborhood like what we have, and they may be coming by and saying, "Hey, I really like that #1 Spider-Man comic that you have. How much would you sell me that for?" And like we're like, you know what? We don't really necessarily want to sell this comic, but you're inquiring. I never really thought about selling this comic. Actually, let me think about it. Maybe I could do this. Oh, that's way too much. I wouldn't pay that for that comic. Well, then you know what? We're not selling it. It's really kind of like that. We have a collection, and it's not that we're putting it out with price tags on the lawn and saying, "Yeah, this is for sale. This is for sale." I think it's that people know what we have and they're inquiring, and that it doesn't even necessarily mean that we want to sell anybody. It's just that that's a leverage position to have things that people want and that you can maybe capitalize on it by being very smart and shrewd by, selling one of them for like a really good haul. And that's what I would say we're at. Not necessarily that we're desperate and we need to make a trade or do any deals. So I don't look at it that way. So I don't really think it's a fire sale. I think it's more that we have a collection and people are inquiring about acquiring parts of our collection. And we may not totally be selling all those parts of the collection. I think that's a better way of describing it. Yeah, but we've never been in this position before as a franchise for sure. Summer, I mean, the only other time I could think about that is maybe sometime in the 2000s, early 2000s, near the end of Vince Carter's time with us. But I don't even think it was like that at that point. It's definitely not as sought after as it is right now, and how much everybody's talking about us and wanting different players, and definitely so many different players. And maybe that usually there's only one or two players, but it's like there's 3 or 4 players that are getting talked about on our Raptor team. So Kareem's here. Good to see Kareem Thomas. Fuck them picks. Bring Jakob home. This has been a very consistent message from Kareem Thomas in recent months, and I applaud him for being consistent with his message. And I'm with him. In a lot of ways, I'm with him. I like both parts of that. Logical is saying the amount the GM wants to be paid is more. If having to face those guys more, paying the price goes higher and changes when the price being paid is by someone in their division, a closer direct effect. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Summer. We've never been in this position before. And in some ways, sure, it'd be good if we could use it and like really get some good stuff out of it using that leverage. But in some ways, also, you know what? Maybe we don't need to. In some ways, our leverage continues to build because this is something that's been building for a couple years now. People have always talked about wanting OG, wanting Fred, wanting Pascal, and Gary more recently. But they've been lusting after our players and they get involved in trade talks for years now. But this is kind of like the most frenzied period of this with so many of them. And the realisticness of it possibly happening has gone up because of our struggles as a team. So it's very interesting. We'll just have to see. I want to see what Bobby says. And it's going to be probably in about an hour from now. We'll see Bobby Webster step up the podium and get that microphone and tell us what's going on with the team. Fun guy saying, I don't want anyone to get pissed, but I'm just saying trading Siakam could be a positive. We could totally change this team with new players and be surprisingly even better because we have a winning coach. I'm not pissed about that. I would be sad and it would be weird. But in some ways, he's the one guy that I've talked about recently that could really change our fortunes quickly because he is very highly valued and he's very good, but also at the same time, he's high efficiency. His efficiency for high usage is not totally good with our team. And in some ways, you cut out his high usage and give that high usage to somebody else, maybe they make it more efficient. And that's a way you can kind of make your team better all of a sudden. I love Pascal and his development and where he's come from. His path has been amazing. He's a great player. I do value him. But in some ways, I think that it's not crazy to think if you trade him and you get some stuff in return that you could get better. Let's see. Yeah, Summer's agreeing with you. I wouldn't be hurt if Raptors traded all 4 starters. Holy crap. That's overkill. I mean, we want to keep some continuity. We don't want to completely overhaul our whole lineup. If we were going to trade somebody, I only want to trade one person. I don't want to trade more than one person. And especially not champions. Like I really want to keep as many of them as possible. We can get rid of one. We get rid of one. That may be too many. And that's why that's the most thing that makes me kind of hesitant about trading Siakam is just how important he was in the championship run. And it's tough. I would be hurt if we traded 4 of our starters. I really definitely would be. They look like they are playing selfish out there for the contracts. Certain ones do, but some guys are just inherently unselfish. And we know who they are, Fred and Scotty. And they're not playing like that. But yeah, we could say that 2 of those other guys I've mentioned that I'm okay with trading or have been, Gary and Pascal. Yeah, but they just play a selfish type of game anyway. Their offense is just that way. Isaac saying, I'm certainly looking forward to Thursday at 3 p.m. Best collection ever. Yeah, he likes our collection. I like our collection too, and I don't want to trade it or get rid of it. You will regret it down the road. Tom Duke's got that clock at 3 o'clock for Thursday. Yeah, get here sooner and faster Thursday at 3 o'clock. We want to just get over this period and shut all the noise up. Thank you, Monique, W Stream, and I will keep at it. I promise for you, Monique Lawrence going to the game tomorrow. See the Raptors play the Spurs. Monique, you go down there, bring those good vibes and bring those W's to the Raptors to beat the Spurs tomorrow. Kareem's saying, why don't people see what Golden State is doing as a blueprint? They kept their core and are shuffling pieces around them. We have a great core. Let's add pieces, trade our picks, and make a run. Boom! He just hit out of the park. Kareem Thomas is on point. Exactly. I think that a lot of teams would like to do that, but the flux of the NBA is just so all over the place, people going every which way. And then in some ways, people aren't patient enough to do it this way. The Warriors have shown a lot of patience. And in some ways, if we want to be a winning dynasty kind of NBA team, we should follow the way that like Spurs, Bulls, Warriors have done that to become a dynasty. And that's by keeping a unit together. The Spurs, think about how long Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan played together and how that became a dynasty. That's what I'm saying. The Warriors, same thing. All these teams that are like this, that get dynasties, have this characteristic. So it just seems like that's smart. And if we want to keep a tag to our first championship to the second one, it'd be good to have a player that got both those championships because then it keeps them together, at least one of them, if not a couple of them. So, yeah, I'm totally with Kareem Thomas, and that is logical and it makes sense. Fun guy saying facts, Summer, and yeah, the possibility of Nurse having a different roster to do same stuff sounds enticing because in some ways Pascal slows us a lot with the ISO play. Yeah, I mean, we've seen the ups and downs with Siakam. We've seen how great he can be, but we also know about when he struggles and the trouble and how it can stagnate us and also really lead to us losing games. And that's why I'm really intrigued about the idea of him. A year ago, I would have said, no, we can't trade Pascal no matter what. But this season, with him as a leader and things that have been happening, he's not been carrying us home to W's in games that have been close when it matters. And in some ways, that's what I want the most from a number one, is I need a clutch guy that will take us home and win the game for us. And he is not that dude in some ways. And that's part of the reason why if he goes somewhere, I feel like we may open something up to allow space for somebody else on the team to take up those roles and do them more successfully. I hate saying this kind of stuff because I love Siakam. I saw him at the 905 game wearing the cape with all the kids doing such a beautiful philanthropic thing that I feel like I'm stabbing in the back a bit when I talk this way about him. I hate it. Let's see. Mike's saying, yeah, it is arguable that Pascal had more value last year than this year. I think that's true. And some are saying there's a risk that Pascal becomes a depreciating asset, though. See, these are parts of what I'm thinking too. And I was just alluding to without even reading or comment is that, like, in some ways, he was worth more last year just because this year has not looked good for him in some ways. He's looked exceptional at times, but also at times it's like he's going to be the number one. This is where the Raptors are at. Logical is saying share the ball on offense is a pillar for a reason, and players on this team need to be on it. If a player wasn't about it, I don't think they're here, aka Alex Len and Spicy having issues in Tampa. Yeah, I agree with that. And some are saying, okay, well, you can't compare the Warriors core to the Raptors core, and you certainly can't compare Duncan's core to this core. Yes, I can. I don't think that's fair. And y'all are poo-pooing our guys and how special they are in some ways. Scotty Barnes could very much be a level like Tim Duncan in some ways. I know that sounds crazy, but I told him straight up early on, I said, dude, one of the players I think you're like is Tim Duncan. And part of the things about you is that you have winning around you like Tim Duncan does. And yeah, maybe it's not fair in some ways, but I want us to open our eyes and our perception possibly to allow the idea that Fred VanVleet could be in the tier of kind of like Steph Curry and Tony Parker. That's fair. That's fair in a lot of ways. And so don't poo-poo our people. Just because we haven't got the second championship yet doesn't mean that these guys aren't capable of getting the second championship soon and looking way more lustrous like Steph and Clay and Draymond and that San Antonio core also. So give them a chance. And like, yeah, you can compare them to them. Just give them some time. They get more success. Yeah, you very much can start comparing them to them. And that's why I want to change the mentality of Raptor fans to be like, we're good enough. And gosh dang it, we can do it. And that's what I'm saying. That's the only reason why I'm saying this. You may be right. It's maybe ridiculous to compare us to those teams, but maybe not is what I'm trying to argue also. Let's see. Fun guy saying, I agree with Thomas only partially because Golden State's core actually won a championship before. Our core were role parts with Kawhi. So very different circumstance. Pascal and Fred never won alone. Well, you could argue that David Robinson was there for the first San Antonio championship, and then he left, and he was the most important player in a way at that time for San Antonio. I don't know. This all comparing is really weird because there's always going to be little X factors and stuff that are different. I guess the Kawhi part of it is tough to say, yeah, but and that's probably why they chopped our nuts right away, and had to get out of here. Ah, man, I hate all that kind of stuff. Thinking about that, what it could have been if Kawhi had just allowed us the chance to get try and repeat. Fuck. Mike's saying Alex Len was being lazy on defense and didn't care. That's what happened between Nick and Spicy. Spicy wanted Nick to do something. Alex Len not playing right. He left. He said, I'm leaving. And then he went to the Wizards. Yeah. A fun guy saying, but Lex, I don't think it's fair to compare because Pascal and Fred were not the core. Kawhi, Pascal, Lowry, and Gasol were more the core. Well, Pascal's name is in that core, and Fred was in the core too. So two of them were in the core. Chris was a bench player, and OG was hurt. Okay. But still, I mean, in some ways, that team played during the year on the championship team. Chris and OG played during the whole season, and they were around that team and understood what it took and stuff like that. Y'all, we're supposed to be building us up, not poo-pooing us. And in some ways, I feel like y'all are poo-pooing our championship and what these guys' roles were on it. It's by for sure Pascal Siakam was the second best player in our championship run, and he is still on our team. So I can say that he was part of our championship core. That you can say Fred too. Honestly, you can say both those guys were part of our championship core. So maybe there's just only two of them, and it's kind of hard to tie Chris and OG in there too, even though they were present. But stop. You're moving the wrong direction. We're positive here. Anyway, on that note, thanks for joining me today on the Positive Raptors channel, Raptor-Freak channel, where we're trying to bring them up and build up our team in the good, positive ways. Thanks for playing trivia today. I will add up all the scores, and I'll post the new trivia standings very shortly. So look for them. And fun guy saying, oh, hell no, I'd fight for our championship rights. No, I would never poo-poo them. Just stating the comparison is wrong with the Warriors. Well, you got to start somewhere, and you got to do something. And that's what I'm saying. We want to be more like them. Well, we got to do the things that are more like them, and that's keeping our guys together. And I think that's the whole original point that the person was trying to make when we brought this up, Kareem Thomas, is that the whole point is if you want to be like the Warriors, well, you got to keep your core together. And that's what we're trying to say here. So, all right, guys, thanks a lot. Let's see what Bobby has to say today. We'll react to it tomorrow, and I'll have a preview for the Raptors 905 versus Maine Celtics and the Raptors versus the Spurs tomorrow. Yeah, there we go. Raptors therapy needed. Yeah, Edmund. Yeah, we'll get more therapy when this is all said and done. We'll all reconvene on that Friday morning, and we'll talk about the fallout after the trade deadline, no matter what happens, whether stuff happens or it doesn't. You know, we'll be dealing with it on Friday morning. Peace out, Summer. Always good to see you in here. We appreciate such a learned, intelligent Raptor freak like you. You really do know your stuff, and I do really respect you a lot. Very true from Fun Guy, and thank you also to you. And right on, guys, to Tom Duke. Cheers to you, Tom Duke. Shane Waters. Shh, nobody's going anywhere. Shane Waters sneaks in. He's been watching the whole time. He just sneaks in at the end and has his little comment. Nobody's going anywhere. Bam. W stream. And yes, West Coast Raptor Freaks, you represent that West Coast BC Raptor Freaks. You go, Shane and Tom. All right, guys, have a great day, and thanks for playing trivia. Let's go.